So, the first word that comes to your mind when you hear ERP.
Efficiency.
One myth about ERP you'd like to debunk.
Big companies, only for big companies.
What's the most underrated feature of ERP system?
Workflow for automations.
The biggest challenge during ERP implementation.
It cannot be one. It has to be to like adoption and change management. It's a big change. Everything has moved on cloud. Whenever adopting or going for any ERP solution, because it's a very crucial decision. And I usually say it like a no U-turn decision for any organization. So that's how the AI is playing a major role now. It doesn't like today I implement an ERP solution and it will go lifelong like that. So that they should be like taking more data-driven decisions. It should not be like a day-to-day data entry into the system. Treat ERP as a growth enabler in your organization.
Welcome, Jitendra, to our Dynamics Insight podcast. Thank you so much for joining us in, and we are really honored to have you here with us. In the last podcast, we had a discussion about the basics of ERP and what happens when a company does not implement an ERP. So today, we're going to discuss about the topic where how ERP can help to bring down operating cost and increase the operational efficiency. But before that, let's start talking about you. Give us a small intro about yourself and what drew you to the ERP industry and what excites you most about it at today's time.
Thanks Ramita for having me over here. So I think it's a good platform and opportunity to share my viewpoints on one of the most interesting topic in my life. This has been almost like 19 years in this industry now. With my every day goes into understanding the key pain areas of the customers and how the ERP solutions are or CRM solutions are really helping them. So I started my journey way back in 2005 as a management trainee, and it's all good. The credit goes to my education. I actually did my graduation in computer applications and then post-graduation in business administration. So it's a mix, IT plus business, correct?
That's a great mix.
Yes. So actually that gives a sense of understanding how IT is playing a major role in flourishing any business or helping any business to run in a very systematic manner. And ERP is one of the critical part of it. So that's from there, like I started my journey in 2005 as in management training in sales, and I started with different ERP solutions like Ramco, Navision. Microsoft was not there at that time, it was Navision. So I started there, and then slowly, gradually, then Microsoft came into picture after 1 year, and then I have started Microsoft Dynamics. So, but overall journey has been like I've been part of understanding those multiple ERP solutions like Ramco, Epicor, or Microsoft Dynamics, within Dynamics, Navision, AX, then CRM. So I got a good knowledge about that. And later on, like working as I got more interest to understand the problems, to understand the businesses. I really like when I'm on a shop floor or in actual environment of doing the business and really see how people are doing their work. What things are going wrong? What are the processes which are like, it's kind of a repetitive task for them, which can be eliminated and we can automate those things. So actually, from the technology perspective and from the business perspective, I can correlate and I'm able to understand those areas. And then I moved into a business analyst area where that was it was a really good experience overall with the overall journey of being a business analyst, where I really helped a lot of companies in terms of understanding their pain areas. What are the challenges, day-to-day challenges in the key users' life or the stakeholders or the people who are on a various level in the organization, the strategical or managerial or operational level. So I'm able to correlate what they are looking for and how we can overcome all those challenges through these applications, whether ERP or CRM. So for now 19 years, I've helped a lot of industries, got a good understanding on manufacturing, whether it's a discrete or process manufacturing, or the textile industry, or professional services, construction, project-based companies, professional service-based companies. So been part of a lot of implementations, sales, pre-sales, and now heading the entire business for Dynamics Square in Australia. Yeah.
So firstly, I would like to ask, why do you think that ERP systems are essential for business? And why do you think that they'll be able to help you cut costs and boost that efficiency that every business needs?
See, for if you ask me this question in a way like, why ERP? Okay, so I feel ERP is a tool, correct? The most important part for any business to run properly or to cope up with the competition right now, with the very tight competitions where there is a struggle to get their operating costs down and have having an intact profit margins. So every business has to run in a systematic form. There has to be some processes, set processes to do any specific job. Whether it's a small business or a medium or a large business, there should be a set specific processes as per the industry or as per that specific company needs, correct? Now, ERP plays a very crucial role because it really helps companies to adopt those processes and act like a silent manager in an organization, which ensures that everything is running in the process. And if you have adopted those processes, the systems to run your day-to-day business operations, it is really helping you to, I would say, perform your work in a very efficient manner, avoiding all those repetitive tasks, correct?
Yeah.
Automation, adding value to your operations, helping fulfilling demands of the customers with the proper planning on your procurement side, your storage of those materials, or proper planning of your projects, proper purchases, and then accordingly fulfilling demand of the sales, correct? And ultimately everything goes and consolidate into the finance department. Now you think if we are doing that job manually, how difficult it is to get dependent on a specific employees.
Absolutely.
Being a human being, I cannot remember everything if I don't have systems.
Yeah.
Or a simple task to do reminders and all. So system is very important, and ERP as a tool is playing major role to overcome these challenges. And that is why I feel ERP is very important for any organization.
Right.
No matter whichever the tool they go for, depending on the size of the company. But there are a lot of applications or ERP applications available in the market. So it's like it's their choice, which suits best to them, but they have to be on a system.
So, Jitendra, how have you seen ERP evolve over the years to meet the modern business challenges, Because the world has evolved in a greater way, there's a huge gap in past 10, 20 years. So, obviously, everything evolves, the technology evolves, everything evolves all in all, right? So, how ERP has evolved throughout 10, 20 years, and what are your views on this evolving of the ERP and how it has evolved?
You're absolutely correct. Actually, doing a business 10 years back is totally different if you see the today's scenarios. So today is it's more competitive market. Everyone is struggling to cope up with that competition and grow their business while having their operational cost. Again, the operational cost plays a major role, like keeping it very controlled, and the profit margins also, like increasing their profit margins. with those kind of stiff competitions out there in the market. So yes, it's ERPs earlier. It's more like it's very feature oriented kind of a thing.
Okay.
Mainly people thinks ERP at that time more as a tool for inventory management or planning or MRPs, material requirement planning. So they think from that perspective. But now today ERPs are like it's a complete system. Slowly, gradually, it actually evolved as a complete application which can integrate all the departments or all the resources within the business or any organization. Correct. So that's one thing where ERP has evolved in terms of the completeness of integrating the entire departments in any organization. But if we see today with the the current situations, it's a total shift. I've seen in 2005 the CDs are there, which has to be installed on a hardware, and then the ERP get installed and people are working. But it's a big change. Everything has moved on cloud. So technology wise, it's a big shift. People are moving away. Organizations don't want to invest in the hardware. They don't want to have those kind of complex IT infrastructures and
because
people
it
to manage.
gets complicated, because you don't want to carry that hardware or that CD with you all the time anywhere around, and secure it that nobody can see it, or it's like an extremely sensitive data. So cloud has definitely become a very convenient, flexible way to secure your data, and you can work with it anywhere around the world, right?
You are absolutely correct. In the past, I've seen like on server, there is a different application CD, and then for clients, if like the IT person has to go one by one on all the key users to install that application on their systems too. It's a long time backstory, but I think thanks to this cloud technology and the earlier adoption, and I think Microsoft is doing really great in that. They came up with this Microsoft Cloud Azure, and then the first movement towards Office 365, moving Office 365 on cloud. I still remember the CDs used to come with a key, and then you have to install it and then put a key into it and all those things. But now it has become very easy. Now business can run and they can focus on their business rather than just focusing on the data center, the continuity of the data center, the maintenance cost, and then the VPN connections and all. It's all gone.
Basically, you're saying in an organization, any employee or the decision maker or the huge management can focus on their work instead of the system, instead of paying attention to the system, if it's going right or not, if the inventory is going correctly or not. So they do not need to worry about the back end work, and they can actually focus on what they want to do. They can actually focus on their goals, right?
Correct.
And you don't need to take care of the security or anything which is a sensitive data. And thanks to specifically Microsoft Dynamics 365, because it has become more easy to secure that. It has become very flexible. It's a bit free to use. So not literally free. No, not literally free, but yes.
Easy to use. Yeah. That's the point. And even it has gone beyond that. See, earlier it was a fight of features. Like how much features you have. Are you covering all the departments in the ERP or not? So that has gone. Like every ERP is very, I would say, very good in terms of capturing those departmental transactions and the processes and the automation and all. But now the entire thing has moved to the next stage of analytics. And that too with the AI driven, the predictive analytics. Correct? Now systems are actually learning your transactions. Systems are actually learning how you do your payments to your vendors and how other customers are making you the payments, where the delays are happening, and specifically creating that kind of analytics for the strategical level to take the actions. So there is a huge shift from a legacy to like a latest technology. What currently is going on, it's a big shift, and AI is a game changer, I would say.
We'll come to AI very soon, definitely.
I'll be more excited to speak on it.
But let's continue with our topic. So, Jitendra, can you give us some real world examples of companies that significantly reduce the operating cost by implementing an ERP?
Uh, I have a lot of examples,
Okay.
but I'll take one of them just to share like how ERP really helps. There is a customer we like that's into they are one of the leading furniture importer in Australia, and then they have a huge distribution across Australia and New Zealand. That's a big company, and they import from across the world like China, Vietnam, Laos, India, various other countries. So earlier they were just on a small system, and they're managing their finance through a local financial or accounting system. Supply chain, they are mostly doing their work on Excel sheets. A lot of manual interventions into it, lot of redundancy of the data, and because of that, even the inventory part, they were using some customized software separately to manage their warehouse, to identify what material is already there, the in and out movement of those materials and all. So it really like when company has grown to a level, and there are almost like more than 70-80 employees, it becomes very, very difficult for them to track down the sales, the orders, the demands which has been created. Do I really have that kind of material in my warehouse? So they have to go back to the inventory guy or the planning guy. They used to refer to their Excel sheets and other systems. If they don't have that there, then they have to go to the warehouse, physically get that things done. Checklist has to be created. So there are a lot of things. Manually, they are dependent on each other, and even one guy miss or any one information is miss, it's like the entire process is stuck. Because of which they are really facing challenges while they are speaking. The customer is chasing them. When you are going to fulfill my demand? When I'm going to get my material? So it's really hurting the customer loyalty. Their fulfillment issues, supply chain issues are there. So when they started looking at an ERP solution, so it's not like straight away they took a decision. So we went into the evaluation process. So our first and the foremost activity is to understand how they are doing their business. And we really found a lot of challenges. We created actually an entire document on it, department by department, that these are the challenges you have, and this is how we can overcome. So they liked it. They liked our approach, and we did the entire analysis, created the entire business blueprint. There was a very good opportunity for that customer and for us to reinvent the entire process as per the best business practice. Correct? So we did that, and you won't believe by doing so, I spoke to their finance head after 1.5 years of implementation, and he quoted almost 30 to 35% inventory holding cost has gone down. They are able to fulfill their sales demand almost 92 to 93% on time. The customers are really happy, and by doing so, not only ERP, like in the accounting team, earlier they were doing their bank account reconciliation. I'm just taking one example. Bank account reconciliation, they are taking help of external accountants,
Okay.
and it was taking almost 3 to 4 days to get that done. So they are paying for getting that done. Now with the ERP solution and the best practices and the technology they have adopted, all bank statements are directly lending up into their system, and on a single click, within minutes, that is all done. Yes. Not even that. Lot of month-end reportings, month-end closings, easy, very sorted. They are feeling so happy, and the management is not dependent on anyone. give me this report, give me that report, I need this, I need that. Their Power BI dashboards are all up and running, and they are having a real-time picture of their entire organization. Whether it's a supply chain, item purchase, sales, warehouse, dispatches, fulfillment of orders, everything is on one screen. I think this is one of the best example I can share.
That is actually indeed one of the best examples you've given. Great. So beyond cost savings, how does ERP contribute to a company's long-term growth and the resilience in a competitive market, according to you?
See, as I told you, like ERP is a tool, and it's kind of a it's a cultural change in any organization, and that culture is of adopting systems and the processes. Now, whenever we are implementing an ERP solution, it has certain objectives. The organization and the strategical level in the organization is having certain specific objectives to achieve while implementing ERP. So they have to be, those objectives has to be very, very clear. So one of the most important objective is a cost saving, bringing down the operating cost. And operating cost in the tangible form, it comes in an inventory holding cost.
Okay.
Inventory in terms like whatever I'm purchasing, I should purchase it wisely. Correct? If I purchase wisely, then I'm using that material to fulfill the demand of my sales. Correct?
Yeah.
It's basically demand and supply. If we have a proper balance into it, then only I am able to save money and make profits.
Makes sense, yeah.
Correct? So ERP really helps me to have a control on my inventory holding cost, because it helps me in terms of proper planning. That if this is a sales demand, I need this much of material, so I should have this much of in my stock. I should not have anything extra, because that's my inventory holding cost then. Correct? So purchase on time, correct? With a proper price. That's the compliance, or I would say ERP as a silent manager is actually acting. Where it ensures that you are purchasing on time with the proper pricing, and then you are consuming those materials to fulfill the sales demand on time. Correct? So this is how you are actually saving in terms of the inventory holding cost.
So it's like nothing more, nothing less.
Yes.
Just the perfect quantity and the price.
Absolutely. You can say that. Correct? So that's one thing. Then in terms of the intangible benefits, like as I've given you in my previous in the previous question, I've given you an answer of a real world example. That company was actually wasting too much of time just for data entry and the information flow from one department to another department. And on top of it, if any error comes, ultimately that's the human being, like who is working and entering those data or carrying those data or information from one department to another. So you're purely dependent. It's like a people-driven organization, correct?
So human errors are naturally, they tend to happen.
And if that happens, with like that can create blunders also.
Huge blunders.
So that's an intangible benefit, where system is actually keeping a check, or system is actually creating those checks and balances while doing your day-to-day operations.
Right.
System is really helping you to utilize your 8 hours job and work effectively. Correct? I am on my KRAs. Every role in the organization or the people are working in any department, they hold certain KRAs and the KPIs. And if I put those KRA and KPIs in ERP application, correct, system is really helping me to show that this is being done. This is not done, correct? Still pending, correct? So it actually sets a responsibility for that role. And if everyone is working effectively, and a day-to-day operation, then ERP system is really helping them to save a lot of time, which they can actually use for any strategical task for organization. And ultimately, the innovative employees if they work towards a strategical task, that is really helping them to grow the business. They can actually think more about growing business while performing their day-to-day operations. And seriously telling you, there are a lot of examples where customers first they go for an ERP implementations. Slowly, gradually they get used to it. Then they come up with a lot of ideas. We are doing this work in a very repetitive way, monotonously. Correct? Can we automate that? They come up with all those requirements and ideas, and we really help them because that really gives them a good boost in terms of saving time, increasing efficiency, doing more in less time.
So, when you hear such cases, you must be obliged and really glad to have this kind of a request of a service to that the companies are ready to adapt to new technology, to evolve and grow and move with
It's
the
not
trend,
even like
right?
we are happy. This is actually our duty.
Of course, right.
We are more than happy when the things has been delivered with as per the expectation of the client, but we really feel good and motivated when key users comes to us and ask for this, and even when we are suggesting them and they take it in a very positive manner. We also do that consulting to all the customers even after implementing ERP. Correct? It's a continuous improvement process. We always take that. So ERP is not only like from the cost benefit, like a tangible benefit which is cost, it's already there by saving your inventory holding cost or any other expenses you are doing. Like I've given an example on bank account reconciliation, taking help of external accountants. You are paying to them and you are wasting 3-4 days on it. Correct? Now you can do it by yourself, or system is helping you to get it done within minutes. So you are saving there. So same way, system is also helping you in multiple ways, in an intangible form. But objective is to save your time, do more in less time, and people should feel happy while they're doing working. So that's the way ERP is really helping and boosting that motivation in the key users and all the stakeholders at strategical level, operational level, or managerial level. All are going good when there are proper implementations done and the proper processes are set. Yeah.
So Jitendra, I'm really intrigued by that line of yours where you said that ERP works like a silent manager, and that ERP is very unbiased and it takes care of the entire process and how deeply it is helping the system in an organization, and how it is eventually helping an organization to focus on their daily tasks and operations very efficiently, very flexibly. So, but you know what my question is, that how does it impact on a financial visibility, right? And how does it contributes to the overall operations of an organization?
See, I'll describe this in this way, that some organizations, I've seen there are some big organizations, they have multiple businesses, correct? They are into different businesses like chemical business, they are into FMCG, they are into construction, real estate, whatever it is, correct? And then they have a group company at the top, but in between that they have opened one more company which ensures the entire audit and the compliances are being followed across all the group companies.
Okay.
Example, whenever I want to purchase anything, I should have at least 3 quotations.
Right.
By comparing 3 quotations, I can see that which vendor is giving me a right quality product on right time with the right price. I hope you are getting my point.
Yeah.
This is how we can actually save. There is no point to pay $100 when I'm getting that material from some other vendor in only $50. Why should I pay $50 more? Correct?
Yeah.
So this is one scenario in audit. Correct? Same way, the approval systems. The approvals like, okay, I need to purchase something, and being a departmental head, I can approve an invoice for up to $5,000. Correct? But the time it goes above or beyond $5,000, it has to go to 2 levels of approval system. Is this process has been followed or not?
Okay.
Who is going to take care of that? Correct? And these aspects are linked with the policies, the systems, the process, and the audit analysis. And somewhere they are also linked to the financial aspect. Correct? So in ERP solutions, why I'm saying again and again, ERP is working as a silent manager. It's like whatever compliances or the audit compliances you have in your mind, which ensures that yes, if everyone follows rigorously or religiously all these processes, my company will grow. Correct? I'm able to control my operating cost. I'm able to negotiate good with all the vendors, and I'm able to give good discounts to my customer. Correct? And I'm able to manage my inventories and stores properly. I should do less wastage. Correct? These are the policies which we can actually set in an ERP application. And being a silent manager, it ensures that everyone follows those rules. If we are following rules, the outcome is more predictive. Correct? And that is how an ERP solution, only from the cost saving and all, it actually ensures that the proper rules has been followed, the proper compliances has been followed, and ultimately giving results in the financial visibility that I have purchased this much of material. Correct? This was my budget for the entire year. Is it over my budget or is it within my budget? It should not go over the budget. Correct? Same way, the sales is being done in the same sales budget or not. The sales forecasting, demand planning.
Correct.
Correct? All of those things are linked. So this is how ERP solutions are really helping to have a full control on the financial visibilities. And the people sitting on the top, they can have a real-time picture of their organization from the financials aspect, from the operational aspect, revenue goals, functional goals. Are we meeting those or not?
It's like an all-rounder, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, because it's been connected to all the departments, and getting a centralized data, that's a benefit. Because information is already there. Now, how you're going to use the information? This information is relevant for this department or this level of the organization. It's available on the click. So that's one of the major benefits. Yeah.
So, hearing your views about the ERP, I know that it fits for all the shapes and sizes of all types of companies. But what I came across in my knowledge is when we say ERP, the customer says it's only for the big enterprises or big organizations. And we are okay with the current systems that we have already installed in our companies, and since the big organizations are complex and it needs a lot of systemized operations, so only these kind of companies need ERP implementation and not the SMEs, small and medium enterprises. So given this, I want to know what are some common misconceptions that businesses have about implementing the ERP systems.
See, I would say this is a misconception.
Absolutely, right.
There are, and even not even one, there are two misconceptions. One is the ERP solution is very complex and it's a very costly matter.
Yeah.
Correct? So, I don't think so. And it's only for the large enterprise. Because of the complexity and the cost, it is only for the large enterprise. It's not like that. I would say earlier in the old times that yes, it used to be, but now there are a lot of tools available in the market.
Right, right.
Correct? There are specific tools or the specific ERP solutions which are targeting only SMEs and SMBs.
Okay.
I can even as we are doing Dynamics 365, Microsoft is having a value proposition with Dynamics 365 Business Central, which is mainly for SMEs and SMBs. Correct? And that too on cloud. In my past answers, what we have discussion or the past discussion that I've told, like from hardware investments to on cloud. So this is an opportunity. So there are a lot of solutions which has come up on cloud. You don't need to invest in the hardware. You don't need to invest in any specialized resources or something like that. Correct? And system, it has all features and functionalities. You just need internet connection and a device. So I think that misconception is, it's a misconception, but it's gone. Because there are a lot of solutions and there are companies, whether SMEs or SMBs, even a lot of startups, they are actually looking ERP implementations from the beginning itself because they wanted to lay down a strong foundation. And if you have a strong foundation of the technology with the ERP and CRM solutions, then anyone joins organization, they can easily adopt that system. Correct? That's the best part. So that is one misconception, and I think it is already gone.
It's gone, yeah.
The second misconception was ERP implementations are very lengthy and very complex, and the failure chances are very high. Correct? I think somewhere in the past, it was not a misconception, it was a reality also too.
Okay.
Most of the cases. There were problems because ERP implementation really need a good partner who actually have a past experience of working in those industries. He understands the industries, he understands the terminology of those industries, the complexities, what are the best business practices. Earlier they have followed by the implementing these systems, and what I can propose to are new customers in the similar industries. So experience of the partner is very, very important. Second, the most important part is the partner and the customer has to be on the same page. We need this, we will give you this, we are into agreement, and then only we are implementing ERP solution with the proper target, with the set goals.
Okay.
Correct? So that's the way that there are proper methodologies which has been defined by Microsoft to do so. Or there are a lot of implementation methodologies. I'm just taking Microsoft because we are doing Microsoft, and there are a lot of ways by which we are doing this and ensuring that we have certain input and exit criterias of each and every implementation phase, ensuring the short-term success and adding to a success in the long run of the implementation. And it has really brought down our implementation timeline, the time frame, or the duration, I would say. The duration of the implementation has gone down in case of SMEs as in SMBs, and they are able to write the benefit straight away after the implementation.
But what challenges do you face while implementing DRP, and how can they overcome them,
See, with my experience of implementations, I've seen there are a few common challenges, correct? And those are like one of the first one, or I would say the big numbers is been given to that challenge, is a resistance to change, correct? Adopting that. See, ERP implementation itself is a cultural change.
Absolutely.
But it's a change for good. But sometimes few people don't take it as an good change. So they feel like it's some kind of an audit system which is on their head now, and it's going to track their performance. But it's not like that. Correct? That's one of the big challenges. Then data migration. So it says what goes in, that comes out. Correct? The input, whatever the good input given to the system, the right output will come out. But what if we are giving a wrong input to the system? How we can expect that we are going to have a right outcome? So we have to have very careful in terms of data. Like what data is going to go in the new systems. So data migration plays a major role. Correct? And I would say third problem or third challenge is misalignment of the business processes.
What do you mean by misalignment?
Misalignment means whatever I'm expecting from, I'm not very much clear with my business requirements. Like sometimes customers don't even know that there is a leakage in the process and there is an opportunity cost or opportunity loss. Correct? So sometimes like we need this, but we cannot articulate that this is how we are going to have this in the system. So it's like I'm not very much clear, because in these kind of ERP and CRM implementation, as I've said, that customer and the partner, implementation partner, should be on the same page with the very clear-cut expectations that this is what we expect from the system. We are ready to help you out with these kind of inputs, but we need this kind of output. I want these things on my screen as my KPIs. System should tell me that this is my overall sales summary for the day. This is my purchases. I want to see, because being a business manager, I want to see my pending purchase invoices to approve, this and that. So like you have a very clear vision. So I see these are the three challenges: resistance to change, then data migration, and third is misalignment with the business processes. To overcome all of these things, see, it requires a strong leadership from both the sides. First of all, like when you go for an ERP implementation, there is a proper time investment of the customers, stakeholders, as well as a partner. Correct? So we have to create a one team. It should not be like a vendor customer relationship. It should be a one project team, and they are working towards a goal to achieve a proper process-oriented system, implementing a proper process-oriented system in an organization. Correct?
Right.
We are experts of our business, ERP implementations, and the customer knows their business very well. So it's a mix of two things, the technology as well as the business processes.
Absolutely.
They will let us know that this is the problem we are facing. They need to be very, very open in that part, what they need, and that too with the perspective of overall organizational impact.
Right.
It should not be the individual impact. Earlier I was doing this in this system. I want the same thing in this system also. Then what is the difference?
Okay.
Correct? So we really need a strong leadership, clear-cut communication, and involving all the stakeholders in this entire process. And those stakeholders from customer side should be a good business process owners.
Okay.
They should know, they own the process. So that whenever the consultant or the partner side, the consultants or the business analyst who are working, if they are suggesting something, they should clearly take a decision that yes, this is good.
All right. Okay.
Correct? For example, like there are number of cases where customers are not, they were not using any ERP, they have gone first time for ERP solution. In manual process, they are performing any business process in 6 steps.
Okay.
But when an ERP consultant comes, in the past they have done a lot of automation, they see, no, you are performing in 6 steps. I can cut short it to 3 steps. It will save your time. So process owner or the stakeholder from the customer side should take a decision on it. He's able to take the decision in terms of, yes, this is beneficial for my business. Correct? So I think these things like strong leadership for the project, clear-cut communications, and involvement of all the stakeholders in the process is very much important. correct? To overcome these three challenges. And the most important, selection of a right implementation partner
Absolutely.
who can actually suggest you. See, it's like a doctor-patient relationship, correct? If you're having a stomach pain, so you should go to a gastrologist.
Yeah.
You should not go to a simple physician or ENT, correct?
Yeah.
So it's like that. Because once you tell your pain, and if they're a specialist of that area, they can easily diagnose the problems and accordingly prescribe the right medicine. That's the crux. Selection of a right partner.
So, talking about the partner, how does Dynamic Square approach ERP implementation differently from its competitors?
See, I won't say it differently, like we are very much different as compared to other partners. Other partners are also doing good. But yes, see, as in Dynamic Square, we, whenever we go into any engagement with any customer, we go with a very strong commitment. It's mainly about your commitment. That yes, we can deliver it. So until unless it has been done as per the expectation of the customers, we don't leave customers. Correct? So that's one of the most important part. Now, the second most important part for us is we treat the implementation process. It's like we treat it as a very crucial part of the entire implementation program, and the steps, like the activities what we used to perform, we do it in a very tailored way as based on the customer's size and the business processes and the expectation. And before going into the implementation, the first and the foremost activity for us is to get ourselves aligned with the vision and the mission of the organization. Correct? Until and unless we don't know the future, what's the future, where you are going, how you are expanding, what's your future plan, correct? So we cannot suggest them how we are going to use the technology to help you run your business, but ultimately achieving your goals, which correlates with your vision and the mission.
Right.
Correct? So, in that sense, we have all those ingredients in terms of flexible implementation methodologies, flexible programs, training programs, very customer specific, user specific key training programs, and our specialized support in terms of data migration, preparation of those data, then testing of systems and checking whether we are getting the same output what we are agreed with the customer or not. The most important part is our post go live support.
So, how the internal team takes the training, how does it go through that training, like while taking over? You said that key users, as you mentioned, is the crucial part of the training, and how you ensure that the end users are well trained.
Okay. See, training, as I mentioned, like training is one of the most important part for the entire implementation. So we prefer doing all the training sessions as a classroom training, and that too face to face.
Okay.
On site with the customer. Correct? Because of, see, after COVID, a lot of things has changed. Microsoft Teams and online meetings, everything has gone. During the COVID time, it is okay because we are not able to access. But since beginning till now, why we have grown? Because of certain aspects, we are taking like very strong, I would say, due diligence into it. That doing analysis phase and the training, user acceptance testing and training of key users on site. And in training sessions, it's like department by department, key user by key user. We can have a group of key users from the same department, and we do a proper training sessions based on the configured system with the customer's data. And we help them to run the system step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and this is the outcome. Correct?
Right.
So they go with this process. They face any challenge, we are there and there, we help them, we make them understand. If there are any feedback, we also take feedback. There are few things which comes as a part like, okay, if we can change this, we can change that. We are very flexible in terms of the change management process too. But depending on the gravity of that change. Correct? So in that sense, we go with the classroom trainings, which really helps customer or their key users to understand the system, to learn the system, and then they can test the entire system by themselves from the process perspective.
Okay.
So that's how we are actually doing trainings.
Okay, so finally, let's talk about AI. So, as we said, as it is known, Jitendra, that there's a lot of noise about AI, and I want to know, how does it impact with respect of ERP? Like, how do you see ERP systems integrating with other technologies like IoT or predictive analytics in the near future?
ERP systems will increasingly integrate with IoTs now, and that to provide a real-time data. Correct? And if I give you an example, one of our customer is into compressors, manufacturing of compressors, and that got installed in various facilities, like even the big buildings or somewhere. Correct? What they have done is, like those compressors also need service, time to time service. Okay? So those has been installed with a chip. Correct? And that connects with the Wi-Fi system of that customer. Now what that chip is doing is basically capturing the running time of that compressor. Correct? That running time is actually going on Azure IoT. And that from Azure IoT, it is actually coming to customer service.
Okay.
Dynamics 365 customer service. It's a very innovative thing. Like, you are more proactive in terms of maintaining your asset at the customer location based on the running hours of that particular machine. Correct? So now system is like, as per your service manual, after running hours of 4,000 running hours, there is a preventive maintenance.
Okay.
So once that chip is saying that, okay, 4,000 is done, it is coming on Azure IoT, and from there it goes to CRM, there is already a workflow stating that once this asset runs over 4,000 hours, there is a preventive maintenance service booking.
Okay.
And system actually sends an email alert to the service manager as well as to customer that there is a upcoming service. So please let us know when we can book our technician. So this actually gives customer more, I would say, a good quality service experience. That nobody is chasing me, and I don't need to chase anyone. And my equipment needs service, and company is very proactive. It's kind of a proactive environment where I'm getting this service. Correct? So these things are becoming very, very common. And because of this IoT integrations, there are a lot of things which are happening to create a good customer experience and managing those assets. Correct? So this is how the IoT integration is working. And there are a lot of examples. Even there is a long time back, there was a similar kind of experience with the ROs and the purifiers you are using at home. Now these things are also coming. You are also using Wi-Fi. This is connected with that. And if your equipment needs service, so company will directly reach you out.
Right.
That's a basic, like whether it's a home durable goods, whichever is connecting with the Wi-Fi. I think almost every durable goods are coming up with the mobile app, and by mobile you can operate it. Correct? So that's the way the IoT is playing a major role with the ERP and CRM integrations. And on top of it, the predictive analytics really enables any business
Yeah.
to anticipate market trends. So they can actually analyze which product is moving fast, which is non-moving. So what's the trend right now? Based on the demographic reason, where you are selling more, which item is getting more and more like sales there in a specific region, not there, why it is not happening. So there are a lot of things where you are losing, where you are winning. These kind of market trends really helps with the predictive analytics is really helping there. And on top of it, like the predictive analytics with this kind of information, suppose it comes to you, you can actually take actions and even optimize your operations. You found that you are very strong in supply chain in that specific area, but other area is leaving behind because you are not good there. There are some processes missing up. Why I'm not replicating the same thing over there?
Right.
Or same thing is working there, but I'm winning more over there, I'm losing more over here. What is the problem? So timely information which is coming in advance to you, stating that you are doing good over here, you are not doing good over there, you should check. So those checks and balances, the advanced information coming to you is really helping out in terms of understanding those market trends, optimizing your business operations, and make data-driven decisions. I'm doing good with this product. It's a fast-moving item. I'm selling it like anything. And there are few items which are slow-moving, and there are few items which are non-moving. So next time when you are doing your sales forecasting, are you going to invest more on non-moving goods or fast-moving goods?
Absolutely.
Correct? Which product is doing good, which product is not doing good, which product is doing very good in which area, but the same product is not doing good in that area. What are the reasons? What are the customer behavior there? There are a lot of things like that. Correct? And this is from the ERP perspective, but let me just share my experience from the CRM perspective too, because AI or the predictive analytics is really playing a major role over there.
Right.
Correct? Now I don't need to tell, or the salesperson don't need to tell that this is a probability of closing this deal and there is a high probability. I don't need to depend on that. There are specific factors on which system is working. Just an example, suppose if any opportunity or any inquiry comes and my entire sales team is working on it.
Right.
Correct? But I see only one-sided communication is going from my sales team. They are reaching out to customers, sending email or making phone call, and then only the customer is replying back. But there is no proactive communication going from both the sides. System is actually analyzing those communication channels and saying that what is a weightage. There is a specific weightage defined for that. If it is one-sided communication, that means customer is not that interested. You are just pushing him. There is no need. You are pushing him. But when there is a need, customer will also ask a lot of questions from you. He will also call you. He will also reply back to your emails. In the same time, if there is an urgent need, there is a lot of to and fro communication goes. That shows the gravity. So predictive analytics is working behind with the AI into it and giving you a proper weightage that I don't think if it is a one-way communication, it will get close. Likewise, there are a lot of other factors, the behavior of the customer, the communication which is going in, going out, what is kind of activities you are performing on the sales cycle. So predictive analytics, the AI part of the system is actually working and analyzing those. And accordingly giving, based on certain logics, it is giving you proper information, what is closable, what is not closable.
So I want to continue with what role does AI play in the automation? in the CRP sector, and what it plays, like what is the role that it plays in boosting that operational efficiency?
I would say there are a lot of areas, and being AI, like just an example I'm taking, because we are doing Microsoft Dynamics, the Copilot, which is Microsoft AI tool. It is embedded into all their applications, whether it's M365, Microsoft 365, or ERP or a CRM solution. Correct? Now, as in Copilot embedded into the system, there are a lot of automations, prediction in terms of delays in payment from your customers, prediction in in terms of the item movement, the inventory movement. As I've told you, like which item is doing good, which item is not doing good. And then on top of it, there are a lot of analytical functionalities what Microsoft has given in. See, feature-wise, today ERPs are rich. All ERPs are having decent features and functionalities. But now it is not more about just performing the operational task. It's more about capturing that data and analyzing that data in number of formats. The same list of data can be analyzed by a salesperson in his own language, purchase person in his own language. That the same data can be analyzed by a production person in his own language, and the people sitting on a strategical level, being an owner or CEO or CIO or general managers and all, they will analyze the same data in a different aspect.
Right.
So AI is really helping us to collate all the data and having those representation based on the role. Correct? So that's the way AI is really helping to provide you a predictive analytics. That boss, if you are going to do the sales forecast for next year, these are the items you should focus on. Because there is a reason to it, and it gives a reason also, because these are the data of the last year sales or last 3 year sales. What if I say, like, you have a item, you are selling it online, and you need a description of that item.
Okay.
Based on, like, when we put an item in ERP system, we need to give a proper attributes. Like, suppose it's a chair, correct? It's like it's a good comfortable chair with these two handrests, the backrest, and these are the features and all. So we have to tell that, correct? So we have to tell that, okay, this color, this options, these sizes, color, and this, the few things we have to mention.
Yeah, all the specifications.
And now you are selling it online on an e-commerce portal. Now for e-commerce portal, you have to have a proper description.
Right.
Without description, you won't be able to sell.
Yeah.
What if I say that AI is writing those descriptions in within seconds in an ERP for you, and you can straight away use it?
Saves a lot of time.
I hope I'm answering your question.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So that's how the AI is playing a major role now. So I would say, like, in coming time, AI is going to be a necessity.
Yeah.
It's a basic need then. Whether it's ERP or CRM solution or any other application which really helps in running your business, AI is going to play a major role.
So I think it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely. It depends how you are going to going to be a win loss or loss. Depends.
So, Jitendra, what advice would you give the businesses considering an ERP system for the first time? I mean, how can businesses, ensure they maximize the value of their ERP investment?
See, as I told, like, there are a lot of ERP solutions available in the market, and it plays a crucial role in growth of any organization. So it's important, correct? But whenever adopting or going for any ERP solution, because it's a very crucial decision. And I usually say it like a no U-turn decision for any organization, because once you take it, like you have invested time, you have invested money into it, and then after 3 months, 4 months, you find something wrong, you cannot go back or you cannot reverse it. So you need to be it's kind of a mission critical project for any organization, even in selection of right ERP solution, and get that implemented successfully. So my advice would be, start with a very clear cut expectations.
Okay.
It's very, very important to know how I run my business right now, what are my key challenges, and how do I see my business after implementation or adoption of such technology. What I want to resolve. What are the problems and what are the resolutions? If we are very clear on these things, correct, then you are able to select a right technology tool, which is ERP solution.
Absolutely.
It can be SAP, it can be Oracle, it can be NetSuite, it can be Microsoft, it can be any other ERP solution. Even the zero accounting solution is also working for very small organizations. But if I know my needs, I can accordingly go for it. I know I need a car. But which car? What's the budget? What's the need or need of a time? I need a car, that doesn't mean I go for the Rolls-Royce, correct? A Corolla Altis can also do, or Ford Fiesta, or Land Cruiser. There are multiple cars available in the market, correct? Which actually I need right now. So the most important part is, have a clear-cut understanding what you need, what is the expectation, and then select a right ERP solution which aligns with your needs and the goals.
Right.
One more important part is selection of a right implementation partner. So, selection of a right ERP tool is good. It's a technology part, but it is very, very critical who is going to implement that.
So, how do they select one?
So they should go with a proper evaluation of that partner on the capabilities, the past experience, and the implementation methodology they are suggesting. Correct? I cannot give a driver who is like, I cannot make my car's driver to anyone who is going on bicycle, and suddenly I give him a Mercedes E-Class that you have to be my driver. To get a driver for Mercedes E-Class, I have to go through the thorough evaluation. What is the past experience? Which cars you have run on?
Yeah.
Correct? So that's the most important part, that who is your partner? Does he have that kind of capabilities, the industry expertise? He understand the challenges. He understand my industry. He understand the terminology of my industry, so that they can actually suggest me the best business practices. It's not like I'm making him learn my business. He should actually come tell me that we understand your business, we understand your problems. And this is how we have actually resolved these problems in the past with these customers. So it will cut short the time of implementation. Correct?
Absolutely.
It will cut short the time of implementation, and it will also go with the efficient or effective implementation of a solution.
How can businesses ensure that they maximize the value of the ERP investment?
See, to maximize investment, businesses has to go with the continuous review and optimize their business processes. Correct? Now, it doesn't like today I implement an ERP solution and it will go lifelong like that.
Okay.
Correct? It's never been like that. Today, based on the size of my organization, the one person is doing multiple things.
Of course.
He can do purchase approval. He can share the purchase quote. He is also receiving the material. Correct? That means my company is not that big. It's a small company, but still running on a system. Tomorrow, my company grows. And now I feel I need to give at least 2 employees down the line with that guy who was earlier doing all the work, so that the volume of transaction which has increased can be distributed and the flow can be more systematic. Correct? He cannot handle everything now. Earlier it is only 100 purchase orders. Now it is
1,000.
1000
Yeah.
purchase orders.
Yeah.
Can one person handle this much of load?
Not at all.
And if I have implemented ERP with 100 purchase orders volume of transaction, like tomorrow if 2 people also joins in, so I need to have a different workflow. That's a change in the business because of the expansion. Every year there are new goals, there are new set targets for all the organization because they are expanding. If they are expanding, their processes are getting evolved. So businesses should revisit in totality that how should I optimize my business process with my growth, which should support my growth. Correct? And those things has to be taken care of in ERP as in functionalities too. Correct? Now with this ERP functionalities and enhancing the ERP functionalities which will support your growth aspirations. So this will help you to stay up to date with you have to be up to date with the latest softwares and the technologies available in the market which will support those requirements of expansion. And there should be a regular training of the users, regular training and the support for all the employees who are using those kind of systems or technology, so that they should be like taking more data driven decisions. It should not be like a day-to-day data entry into the system. It should be like how I can use that data and take a right decision for my organization based on my role and can achieve my growth aspirations, which will really help my company to grow. Correct? So those are, I think, the ways by which we can actually enhance or get maximum out of any ERP or CRM implementations.
So Jitendra, before you leave us, we want to ask you one last question. Basically, what's that one key takeaway you would like to give to our audiences to remember about ERP and the operational efficiency?
Treat ERP as a growth enabler in your organization.
Like an injection.
Correct. It's a strategical enabler that can transform your business operations and drive efficiency and support your growth.
Thank you so much for joining us in, Jitendra. It's been we are really honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ramita and the entire team for hosting this and having me here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's really nice to share all my experience and all my thoughts around ERP and CRM solutions and the business automation, and look forward for more if you email.
Of course. Any day. Well, that's a wrap up for today's episode. A huge thank you to Jitendra for sharing such insightful knowledge about the ERP industry and shedding light on how these systems can truly transform businesses. If you enjoyed today's conversation or learned something new, be sure to subscribe so you do not miss out on future episodes. Stay tuned for more industry insights, expert interviews, and tips to elevate your business game. Until next time, this is Ramita signing off. Keep innovating, everybody.